History often paints medieval warriors with broad strokes, brave knights, disciplined legions. But delve deeper into medieval India, a vast expanse of time from the 6th to 18th centuries. Here, sanitized portrayals crumble. Forget simple battle lines. We reveal realities far stranger, darker, and more shocking. Imagine ritual suicide squads bound to die with their king. Picture chilling towers built from countless human heads. Prepare for a journey into the brutal, lesser-known truths of warfare, hidden deep within the shadows of the past. Prepare to confront the unsettling truths hidden beneath the surface of medieval Indian warfare. First, loyalty stretched chillingly beyond life itself. Meet the Hoysala Garudas and Chola Velekara, elite bodyguards, sworn not merely to die for their king, but ritually bound to die with him. Upon their ruler's death, whether in battle or from natural causes, these oath-bound warriors performed mass ritual suicide. Accounts describe gruesome self-decapitation or dismemberment, acts documented on stone memorials. This wasn't isolated heroism. Entire units, sometimes numbering 1,000, along with their families, and subordinate retainers called Lenkas, followed their king into death. The jingling Gandapendera anklet worn by Garudas served as a constant, audible reminder of their fatal vow. This institutionalized self-annihilation reveals a warrior culture where the oath eclipsed individual existence. Second, honor found its ultimate, horrifying expression in annihilation, particularly among the Rajputs facing invaders. When defeat loomed, capture meant enslavement, rape, and forced conversion, fates deemed worse than death. This led to Jauhar and Saka. Jauhar saw the women and children, led by the queen often dressed in wedding attire, commit mass self-immolation within fortress walls, choosing fire over dishonor. Their sacrifice was a final, defiant act. Knowing their families were gone, the men then prepared for Saka, bathing, donning saffron robes symbolizing martyrdom, sometimes consuming opium or bhang for trance-like courage. They charged out in a suicidal onslaught, aiming to kill as many enemies as possible before their inevitable slaughter. It was a ritualized spectacle of collective self-destruction, rooted in extreme codes of honor and duty, Kshatriya Dharma. Third, conquerors wielded terror as a calculated instrument of state. Figures like Timur and the early Mughal Babur employed systematic brutality far beyond the battlefield. After victories, soldiers were often commanded, sometimes paid per head, to collect the severed heads of the slain. These grisly trophies were then meticulously arranged into pyramids or towers outside captured cities. The purpose was multifaceted: to paralyze surviving populations with fear, crush any thought of future resistance, provide a visceral, often inflated, count of the dead, and stand as monumental testaments to the conqueror's absolute, ruthless power. Timur's documented massacre of potentially 100,000 Hindu prisoners before the Battle of Delhi, and Babur's own matter-of-fact records of constructing head towers, underscore the chilling normalization of this extreme violence. Fourth, the iconic war elephant, a symbol of Indian military might, was a double-edged weapon fraught with peril. While undeniably potent psychological tools, their sheer size, terrifying trumpeting, and crushing power engineered to induce panic, sometimes amplified by deliberate intoxication, they were also profoundly vulnerable. Skilled archers targeted their eyes or mahouts. Fire and specific sounds, like the squealing of pigs weaponized against them, could send them into uncontrollable flight. Beyond battle, they served as gruesome platforms for public executions, crushing condemned individuals. But their greatest danger often lay in their unpredictability. A panicked elephant could easily turn, rampaging through its own ranks, inflicting devastating casualties and chaos upon the very army it was meant to serve. Fifth, medieval Indian armies rarely marched alone. They were accompanied by vast, sprawling entourages of non-combatants, the camp followers. This shadow army of merchants, artisans, servants, families, prostitutes, and holy men could dwarf the actual fighting force, sometimes outnumbering soldiers 4 or 5 to 1. This immense human train posed a colossal logistical nightmare, consuming enormous quantities of food, water, and firewood, often stripping landscapes bare. It was a fertile ground for disease. Furthermore, this slow-moving baggage train, the army's bazaar, was acutely vulnerable, a prime target for swift enemy raiders, like the Maratha cavalry. A successful attack on the camp followers could cripple an army's supply lines and shatter its morale, highlighting the immense, often unrecorded human cost borne by this essential, yet perilous, mobile city. Sixth, faith and ferocity merged in the form of militant Hindu ascetic sects, the holy terrors of the battlefield. Groups like the Naga Sadhus fought as mercenaries or allied troops, embodying a strange union of extreme religious devotion and startling violence. Their appearance was deliberately terrifying, fighting naked or nearly so. Bodies smeared in funerary ash, hair matted, wielding tridents alongside swords. Renowned for their fanatical courage and apparent indifference to pain or death, states believed attainable through intense ascetic practices, they launched wild, unpredictable charges designed to break enemy formations through sheer shock. Yet, their lack of conventional military discipline and potential for sectarian infighting, sometimes clashing with other ascetic groups within the same army, made them volatile and unreliable allies. 7th, from southern India emerged a weapon unlike any other, the Urumi, the impossible whipsword. Originating in the Kalaripayattu martial arts, it consisted of one or more long, incredibly thin, flexible steel blades attached to a single hilt. Essentially a sharpened steel whip, it could even be coiled around the waist like a belt for concealment. In skilled hands, the Urumi became a whirlwind of slicing steel, wielded with continuous flowing motions, capable of striking multiple opponents simultaneously and bypassing shields. However, mastery was incredibly difficult, and the weapon remained profoundly dangerous, even to its wielder. A single misstep could result in horrific self-inflicted injury. Training was arduous, demanding extraordinary coordination and nerve, beginning with cloth replicas before graduating to live steel. The Urumi represents lethal elegance fused with extreme personal risk. Therefore, when picturing medieval Indian warfare, look beyond the gleaming armor. Remember the Garudas, bound by oath to die. Recall the horrifying pyres of Jauhar and the final doomed charge of Saka. Visualize the chilling towers of heads, the double-edged terror of war elephants, the chaos of vast camp followers, the naked warrior ascetics, and the lethal dance of the Urumi. These strange, dark, and brutal realities reveal a history far removed from heroic ballads, a past etched in unsettling truths. Discover more hidden histories with us.